On paper, looksmaxxing appears very good. It is the act of trying to improve one's appearance, maximizing your looks. And a lot of maximizing your looks comes from improving your health, improving your lifestyle, getting more exercise, eating cleaner. And I fully advocate for that. But the one thing that I do not advocate for is obsessive looksmaxxing. It is insidious how certain looksmaxers entice young men into thinking they can completely change their appearance in a certain way. And I'm not saying it's not possible, but the fact there is so much obsession that goes into it, and for what? A lot of these guys have the motivation, I'd say the majority of them, to attract girls. And some of them want to do it in a more wholesome way, which is where they just want to find a girl that they can fall in love with. But for a lot of guys, they want to maximize their looks so they can sleep around and have their soul destroyed. And it is really sad. It is really sad. And I fell into that rabbit hole myself. Now, I learned a lot about the dietary side of looksmaxxing, about hygiene, things like that. But then I was also looking into things that alter your physical appearance. I would look myself in the mirror and be frustrated with the hand that I'd been dealt in life, Oh, I wish my eyes looked like this. I wish I was taller. I wish my nose didn't look like that. I wish my ears were like this. And having learnt more about myself and learnt about the world, I'm just grateful for the way that I look, because I know there's tons of people who wish they looked like me. Like, I'm not a extremely handsome guy by any stretch of the imagination, but there's people who, let's say I'm complaining about my ears, there's people who are born without ears, there's people who have deformities, and I'm here complaining about looking like a normal guy. And you may say, well, that's okay for you to say if you're average looking, but there's a lot of guys out there that these looksmaxers and black pillars, which really a lot of them fade into the same category, sadly, they refer to a certain group of people as sub 5, which is they're less than a 5 out of 10 on the looks thing. And I would declare in front of everyone that looks isn't everything. Your genetics do not define who you are. Attraction is not solely based on your genetics, on the way you look. It is an important factor, and it is often the foundation of attraction. But what trumps attraction, what trumps the stuff that you can't improve on, like your genetics, is vibe, is mindset, is confidence. This is what sets people apart. Because I see tons of guys who are good looking guys, and girls may be attracted to them, but a lot of them have no idea how to talk to girls. They fumble, and then they wonder where they're going wrong. And I think above all, we need to step away from looksmaxxing. We need to step away from this idea that we're going to make ourselves better for girls, that the only reason why we exist is to chase after girls, the only reason we exist is for the validation of the opposite sex. We need to start soulmaxxing. We need to start connecting with nature again. We need to start strengthening our relationship with God. We need to start strengthening our relationship with other human beings. Because this is a collection of these things are a worthwhile endeavor. Much better than sitting at home all day, spending hundreds of dollars on products, on courses, wasting valuable time. And again, as I said, there is some information that's valuable. Eating a clean diet, hygiene, braces, things like that. I advocate for these things. If you can easily improve your appearance by, getting a good haircut, being clean shaven, upgrading your wardrobe, reducing acne, reducing body fat, I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to be healthy, and that will manifest in your physical appearance. What I don't encourage is this manipulation of young men, this exploitation of men's desire to be loved and wanted, or to have validation from other people because they suffer from trauma. And a lot of the guys aren't traumatized, they're just looking for purpose in life. A lot of the guys lack purpose, and so they feel that they have to work on something. They try to find it in looksmaxxing. Some of these guys become looksmaxxers and make hundreds and thousands of dollars online, and that's up to them. But whilst the idea is great, the execution is not. You see guys selling courses, you see guys monetizing on people's insecurities, and it is really sad. You see all of these Discord servers dedicated to rating people, and it's not just guys as well. There's some girls in these servers, which is crazy, absolutely crazy, where they're just roasting people. They're rating people's faces, and it seems if you're of a certain nationality or a certain race, you're done. It's over for you. I get that life isn't fair, but this does not help. We should be building young men up. Encourage them to take care of their health. Encourage them to look nice and be presentable, be gentlemen. But we need to encourage them to go into nature and look at the beauty of creation. And if you're so inclined, you can go to church, mosque, synagogue, whatever you worship. Strengthen your connection with God. And if you don't believe those things, at least strengthen your connection to other humans. You may be seeking love, you may be seeking validation, but there are healthy kinds of those things. Trying to improve your looks just because of girls, it leads to destruction. It leads to a corruption of the soul. Strengthening your relationships, spending time with your family, with your loved ones, cherishing every moment with them. That is what rejuvenates the soul. That is what maximizes and capitalizes on this wonderful gift of life we've been given. Young men are in a crisis. They're looking for meaning. They're looking for purpose. A lot of them are fatherless. I was looking in the United Kingdom alone, I think it's between 30% to 20% of young men, I could be wrong on that, are growing up without fathers. At least millions of them live in fatherless homes. They do not have a masculine role model in their life. And so they go to TikTok, they go to Instagram, they go to YouTube, and they find these role models of certain maybe masculinity, just self-improvement. They look at looksmaxxers and think, I want to be like that guy. I want to be as handsome as that guy, so people like me. And so they spend money, they spend valuable time. And some of them succeed in this. There's people who go out and spend surgeries on improving their looks, and they're never satisfied. They always think they can look better. They get to a certain goal, and they think this isn't enough. And as Jim Carrey said, and this isn't the exact quote, but he said something along the lines of, I wish that everyone could achieve their goals and become successful so they can realize that it's not the answer. Finding purpose in these worldly things will come at a cost, and the cost is your soul. So I encourage you to find something more wholesome, something more mentally ameliorating, if that's the correct use of the word. I encourage you to find things that you're passionate about. And if you're insecure about your looks, you have to realize that nobody cares about this as much as yourself, as much as you think people might be, looking at you. You might feel ugly. You might be ashamed of your appearance. I have seen many a times that my insecurities are often self-inflicted. It's not because other people have said them, and when I draw attention to them, people sort of shrug their shoulders and said, I didn't really notice. I don't really notice that kind of things when I speak to people. It's not about how you look, it's about how it makes you feel. L'Oreal Paris. And we really need to realize this. Vibe is way more important than looks. I'm not saying throw away all looksmaxxing. I'm not saying you can eat all the junk food and have an acne-ridden face and not go to the gym and not challenge yourself. But don't be so hard on yourself. Life is a crazy journey, and it's much easier if you have a positive mindset and believe things can improve. Hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. God bless, and as always, you take very good care of yourself.